at it! Machu Picchu.
Look at this! There's alpacas here! That is so cool.
This oasis that we're driving into right now is one of the most surreal places on the planet. This is the showstopper of Peru, Machu Picchu, one of the 7 wonders of the world and the reason millions flock to Peru every year. But believe it or not, Peru's most unforgettable experiences lie beyond Machu Picchu.
It's like it comes out of a nuclear reactor.
In this video, we continue our South American adventure with an epic 2-week road trip across Peru in our camper van. From trying some of the best food on the continent to incredible wildlife, from exploring those world-famous ruins to spending time with a local family that lives on man-made floating islands.
Best road trip ever.
Bomb.
This is Peru. We're kicking off our adventure in Lima, the capital. So this is the Plaza de Armas Square, the main square of Lima and probably the most beautiful square in all of Peru.
It's incredible.
This is the very square where the independence of Peru was proclaimed in 1821. You have the cathedral on this side of the square, and then over here behind us you have the governmental palace.
It's a little bit chilly today, but Lima is known to be it's on the coast, it's known to be a little bit foggy and cloudy because of all the mountains surrounding it. Since what we love most is eating, I found a typical breakfast spot just around the corner. Alright, we bought some churros, which is typical breakfast they have here in Peru. Ooh, it's hot. These are freshly baked. Look at this. How good does this look? It looks a bit like a croissant almost. Wow. So this is dough, a little bit almost like a donut, fried. And then in the middle you have the crema de pastelería, which is this sweet goodness. On the outside it's crispy because it's fried, and then the dough is nice and smooth on the inside, and then you've got the cream filling. This is a winner.
It's a lot sweeter than normal churros, which I like. We need to fuel up because we got a big day ahead of us. We're gonna start off this trip here on the coast. We're gonna go to Lima, and tomorrow we're gonna do a boat trip to actually go off the coast and see some penguins. So super excited about that. First, I think there's a little bit more to discover here in Lima.
Oh, we're just on our way to one of the main markets here and came across this building. I mean, I've never seen such an intricately designed facade. Is this a church? Wow.
So this market is called Surquillo. It's one of the biggest markets and one of the most interesting markets in all of Lima. That's really nice about Lima. It is one of the most beautiful cities we've seen so far in South America, but it also still has the markets and the hustle and bustle. Of course, no market is complete without trying the local food. This is my favorite Peruvian dish. I've already had a bunch of times since we got here. This is causa. Peru has over 4,000 different kinds of potatoes. I personally only know 3 different kinds of potatoes. We have boiled, mashed, and fried. But here they have 4,000. Anyway, this causa is one of the national dishes of Peru. It's mashed potato with a little bit of chili and a little bit of lime. And then this particular kind is filled with crab and mayonnaise on the inside, stuffed, and then a little bit of sauce on there. It does not get more Peruvian than this, people. Oh my god. Oh, and there's usually avocado in there as well. Oh, that is so good. It's so crabby.
Crabby?
I don't know what the sauce is though. It tastes a little bit like pepper, chili-ish. So this is served cold, like it's not warm potato, it's like literally cold mashed potato with, in this case, crab, some mayonnaise. If you're judging me right now, this is local Peruvian food.
Look at this, I ordered a combo of seafood, This is called chaufa with seafood. It's a rice dish. It's like Peruvian Chinese. It's kind of fusion. And this is called chalia. This is different types of fried fish with nice sauce to go with it. Good. Nice and crunchy, good sauce to go with. Rice with seafood. Let's try. Oh, look at how much seafood there is in here. Got shrimp, pieces of fish, got some pulpo as well. Cheers, guys.
This is a lot bigger than my dish. Okay, granted, I already finished half of mine, but look at that.
¿De dónde son ustedes?
De Bélgica.
Bélgica.
Sí, sí.
¿Primera vez por acá? ¿Y qué tal? ¿Le gusta o no le gusta?
Sí, mucho.
¿Verdad? Muy rico.
Gracias.
Alright, we are back in the car. It's time to get on the road. It's time to start our 2-week road trip here in Peru. We're going to drive out of the city along the beautiful coast. Going to be exploring Paracas, the desert, the mountains. I am super excited to start this. I am less excited about driving in the city though. For some reason, people drive a little bit crazy, quite unpredictable. Like they drive crazy on all of South America, but here,
Dude,
If you guys are already looking at where would
this bus just driving me off the road? What the fuck are you doing? Look at this beautiful spot on the beach we're in. Good morning. Today we are in the town of Paracas and people only come here for one reason.
This morning we're visiting the Islas Ballestas, a chain of islands less than an hour off the Pacific coast of Peru that is often called the poor man's Galapagos. Penguins.
So between the 18 different species of penguins, Humboldt penguins are one of the tiny ones, 45 up to 60 centimeters.
Incredible to see these penguins here in Peru.
And there's a whole lot more out here than just penguins. Oh, they're not happy with each other. Penguins, sea lions, you don't expect this on the coast of Peru. The Islas Ballestas are home to more than 150 species of birds. In fact, there are so many birds here that their guano, which means bird droppings in Spanish, once accumulated up to 30 meters or 100 foot high on these rocks. Today people come here for a wildlife cruise, but long ago they came here to collect poo. In the 19th century, this white gold was so valuable as a natural fertilizer that exporting guano turned Peru into one of the wealthiest nations of the time. Wow, that was such an incredible morning, and it was only like 30 soles each for a 2-hour boat ride, which is $7.50. So Peru is actually a really diverse country. Right now, we're at the ocean next to the beach, but in about an hour's time, we're gonna drive straight through the middle of the desert. And I know what you're thinking, desert, that sounds kind of boring. Well, not in Peru. This, guys, this mirage, this oasis that we're driving into right now is Huacachina, surrounded by the sand dunes on all sides, just in the middle of the desert. It is one of the most surreal places on the planet, I think.
Wow, look at this. You've got the laguna right here.
And then these giant sand dunes in the background here. Incredible.
The reason people actually come here is because of these sand dunes. They're massive sand dunes. I can actually go do 2 things here, which is sand buggying, driving a 4-wheeled vehicle across these massive dunes. And you can go down sandboarding, which is like snowboarding, but then in the sand, just going down a hill. That's exactly what we're going to do later.
We walked around the small town. Well, actually, we walked around it 2 or 3 times in 30 minutes. And we ended up finding a local tour guide to take us out into the desert in his buggy. His nickname is El Loco. I think the guy next to Naik summed it up best when he said, "Now we know where the people from Lima learned how to drive." That was just a buggying. That is not the bit that I was nervous for.
What an adventure.
Why did the other people not scream, Nick?
I don't know, I just like screaming like a little girl.
At this point, I was like, we did it. We sandboarded in Huacachina, Peru, and we survived. But it turns out these were just the warm-up sand dunes, the kiddie ones, if you will.
Okay, yes.
Wow. What a day, what a day. Paracast and this, sandboarding.
Penguins!
Penguins. Penguins in the sand.
In case you had not noticed, Peru is going to be awesome. El Loco turned out to be truly loco, and so was this sunset. It's not every day you get to visit a real mirage in the middle of the desert and ride the dunes. But this is just the beginning of what Peru's got in store for us. Tomorrow morning, the journey to Machu Picchu really begins. Good morning. It's currently 6 a.m. We've got a big driving day ahead of us. We've got some cool stops planned. We're gonna go to the Nazca lines and a bunch of other places on the way to Cusco. And today we're gonna get much, much closer to the big one of Peru, Machu Picchu! It's so foggy you almost can't see the sand dunes. No, perdón. $50 for 2 coffees.
That's a steal.
What is that?
You see? It's like the face, the Inca face. It was carved into a rock.
Oh, cool.
The nose, the eyes, the chin. Yeah, it's kind of like the Mount Rushmore of Peru. Alright, let's get back on the road. We've got our next stop coming up in about 30 miles, which is gonna be really, really cool.
So we're out here in the middle of the desert. What are we going to see here? One of the biggest mysteries of Peru, actually. Here in these fields, there are a bunch of geoglyphs, which is basically a fancy word for drawings in the surface of the earth. And these aren't just drawings. These drawings are about as long as the Empire State Building is wide. This is a 500 square kilometer surface area where you find the Nazca lines. And we're gonna check them out from right up that tower.
Yes.
Now the reason I said these lines were so mysterious is because they might look recent, but they're actually over 2,000 years old. In the desert around this area, there are over 1,500 of these drawings that were made by the Nazcas, which is an even older civilization than the Incas. And how the hell do you do this? Like, unless you have a helicopter to monitor the drawing process.
Hand looking figures here. There's a tree. And then somewhere there should be a lizard. No, this is the lizard.
This is the lizard.
They think these were created in around 600 BC. 2,600 years ago, like even 600 years before Jesus was born. It's crazy.
Now currently, there are still a lot of theories about what these figures are actually for. Some say it was part of some ritual ceremony of a procession pattern or something. Others say that because a lot of these animals are actually not desert animals at all, but like would require water in the jungle, that it's some kind of ritual to ask the gods for rain.
Like I couldn't even draw a cat on paper to save my life. This is such a cool stop. You can actually take a flight above all these Nazca lines to see them. We don't have the time and the money to do that.
It's $100 each, but this tower was just $2.
Alright, no time to lose. We've got our next stop coming up in about an hour or so. So let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Look at this. There's alpacas here. How cool. How cool is this? I think these are wild ones even because there's no fences or anything. They're staring at me. Hi guys. How are you? That is so cool. We saw alpacas.
Bam! Or llamas, still confused.
I think they're alpacas. If anybody asks, they will.
We saw Andes mammals.
Traffic is pretty bad today in the Andes Mountains, I must say.
We're making a quick pit stop in this small desert town. Something about pineapple, where there's a market, and we're hoping to find some breakfast. Damn, this is long.
Ah, Sergio, es guapo. Sí. Ya, dice que lo lleves a Estados Unidos.
Gracias.
A un sol. ¿Tú de dónde eres?
Bélgica.
Ah, de Bélgica.
Sí, sí, muy lejos, ¿no?
Just having a little breakfast here at a local spot. This breakfast, including like a coffee and everything, just cost 10 soles, which is $2.50. How crazy is this?
Gracias. Back to the Windmeister. Continue towards Machu Picchu. Peru is a pretty big country, and getting from the Nazca lines to Cusco, a highland city that is the gateway to Machu Picchu, is quite a drive. It's 15 hours, but as we're doing this trip not on a tour bus but in our own camper van, we're getting to see some incredible parts of Peru and making pit stops.
Climbing up into the mountains. We're at more than 2,500 meters, which is more than 8,000 feet right now. Today we're gonna drive even up to 4,000 meters, which is like 18,000 feet or something.
It is the path to Machu Picchu, to Cusco, people. The views here. Look at this! Just constantly. There's this small part of me that feels like this day, which is basically a driving day to get to Cusco, is not really that interesting to film because this is like an in-between bit, in between all the highlights. But actually, this is what Peru is like. And I think that in itself is probably more interesting than I sometimes give it credit for.
Kim, I want one. I want a pet goat.
I don't think that's a goat. That's a sheep.
Gas station in the middle of nowhere and then a pet sheep. The GPS says we need to continue straight here and then right. Okay, 400 meters straight. I can do a lot of things, but I don't know. Vinny, are you up for this? Cool little village. And street food market here.
I found the cleanliest food stall I have ever seen in all of Latin America. It was unbelievable. It was like she just rolled it out of the shop for the first time. And I got us something typically Peruvian. There goes my fork. Yeah, that's my fork. It's called broster. It's Peruvian fried chicken. She fries the fries in the same oil as the chicken, which I think is going to make this extra delicious. Look at what a huge portion this is.
We've gotten ourselves a bit in the pinnacle here. We've got about 50 something soles left, which is about $15 US. And I lost one of our credit cards somehow. And then this one randomly stopped working. This one has been deactivated. I don't know why, it's still valid. Kim's credit card has been maxed out because we just paid for a bunch of stuff. We don't have any way to get any money. $15. Oh, and we're also out of propane, so we can't do any cooking anymore. I just found that there's a Western Union in this small town, but it is Sunday, so we're gonna have a drive around town, see if it's open. Fingers crossed.
Whether you're sandboarding or looking for cash, never a dull day in Peru. Western Union.
Found it. Google Maps said it was open until 10 p.m. Reality says it's closed.
But I feel like there's a lot to be grateful for. Like, we're only a few hours out from Cusco. There's probably going to be a Western Union there. We're surrounded by this beautiful landscape. We're in Peru. We're on our way to Machu Picchu. Life is good.
Yes. Great.
See, that's the thing with doing something adventurous. It's probably not going to go all right all the time. And that's all right. We ended up driving late into the night to get to Western Union the next morning. Cusco is a cultural heart of Peru. We're gonna spend today here and go to Machu Picchu tomorrow, but first...
Our system is down.
Oh, that's not good.
I'm new man. I am ready for Machu Picchu. Welcome to Cusco. This is the Plaza de Armas, the central square of the city here. I mean, just look at all these impressive colonial buildings here. It's just wow.
Cusco is the gateway to the Sacred Valley. I think most people who come to Peru and want to go to Machu Picchu, they all pass through Cusco. And we are going to go to Machu Picchu, but there's a ton more to do here. In this city, there's beautiful architecture. There's incredible ruins like right here within the city. There's really good food, markets. Like, we've been here before, but I'd forgotten how beautiful it is.
Now we're at this alley. It is Hatunrumiyok.
Hatun Rumiak?
This is a special alley. I think we located the famous one somewhere over there. Well, perfectly cut angles, and they all fit together. So,
Like, this is some serious craftsmanship. This is one of the most popular cities, probably the most popular city to come to in all of Peru. So naturally, it's also pretty touristy with a lot of fellow international travelers and a lot of shops and a lot of shops.
and a lot of people trying to sell you something. Like every 2 minutes you get asked, do you want to buy my alpaca, or do you want to buy my alpaca drawing or my alpaca socks? Or
And even if you show zero interest, people will be like, oh, please come into the shop. But, I mean, there are even people who just fly into Cusco to see Machu Picchu and the Sacred Valley. They don't even go to Lima and the rest of Peru. They just come here because this is where
probably
the
the
best
best
bit.
spots, I mean.
This is where the best bit of Peru is.
since we hadn't had breakfast yet, thought it's time for a little snack.
Oh my god.
How good does this look? This is some kind of chocolate thingy with, I don't know what it is, but it looked awesome. That's pretty good. I've never seen this before in my life.
Is it like a waffle, like a croissant?
More like a croissant. Some chocolate on top of it.
Cusco Sacsayhuaman Machu Picchu para todo el mundo. Jaile Cusco, viva el Perú.
We're now heading into the San Blas neighborhood, which is less known. It's also these small, like, cozy little streets, like all these you can see here.
We walked through the city for a bit, looking for a good lunch spot and taking in the views.
This is said to be the most beautiful street in all of Cusco. There are a lot of people here. Everybody getting their Insta shots in.
And what you have here?
What?
That's a llama or an alpaca?
How cool is this? We found one of the best restaurants here in Cusco. It's called Morena. We tried to go there, but they're completely full. You have to make a reservation. They told us we can wait, like, come back in 45-50 minutes, and they'll keep a table for us. So, well, it's a good sign. I mean, A lot of restaurants here are completely empty and very touristy, but this one looks...
So this is a Mercado Central, which has some sections with food and stuff, but mainly I think it's a handicraft market. But Peru has some really, really beautiful artwork. Lots of stores that sell pretty much everything you can think of in terms of textiles. They have scarves made of alpaca wool and silver jewelry. It looks really nice. We browsed the market and then we got a call that our lunch table was ready.
Wow, what a great experience. The food was amazing. And what's best is like the prices are just really cheap. We paid like $65–70 for 2 people. All right, I ordered the alpaca with risotto, and then there's a traditional sauce with it. Alpaca is one of the famous animals. It's like a llama but smaller. And I've never had this before actually, so I'm really curious to try it. Cheers, guys. Whoa. It tastes very gamey, like a strong meat flavor, but it's very soft and succulent. And then this risotto is so nice and creamy. Wow. I'm so glad we waited 1.5 hours to come here.
I don't eat cute animals. Well, I mean, sometimes. Lomo saltado. Beef, potatoes, a really rich sauce, vegetables, but no one is in it for the vegetables. If you come to Cusco, you have to come here. Otherwise, you haven't been to Cusco. Overall, I think Peru is actually quite affordable, which a lot of people might not think it is. Not everything is affordable. For example, tomorrow we're going to Machu Picchu.
It's a little bit expensive because it's super popular, of course, but so far it's been amazing.
Okay, so we just got back. In a minute we're gonna drive to Ollantaytambo, which is the town we're gonna go to Machu Picchu from. But first, I'm gonna show you some of the stuff I got at the market. I bought this, like a little clutch purse for my sister. I think it's so adorable. There's like a shoulder strap in there as well. Though technically she did ask me to bring her back a live alpaca. So I'm gonna put this little fella in there as well as a surprise. I really like that they have such good souvenirs here in Cusco. Now, after Cusco, it's time for the highlight of Peru.
Let's go. Machu Picchu is that way. Machu Picchu! Wow, up here on these mountains you can see the Sky Lodge. It's a really famous hotel. You basically sleep in a pod on the side of the mountain, hundreds and hundreds of feet in the air. It's really cool. Also really expensive, so a little bit out of our budget. Alright, we just parked up outside of Ollantaytambo. If you don't know what Ollantaytambo is, this is where we're gonna take the train to Machu Picchu tomorrow morning. We're taking one of the most scenic train rides in the world from here through the mountains. It's impossible to get by car. So through the mountains, get some incredible scenery, and then we get to Machu Picchu tomorrow morning.
We're spending the night here in this beautiful, beautiful parking lot where buses and like these small tour carts come. They're letting us sleep in there and they're letting us park it here until tomorrow evening. So for just 20 soles, $5, which is pretty good steal. Look there. Over there.
Wow, how cool is that?
Those are the ruins of Ollantaytambo.
Cool.
And this is the ancient sounds of the ruins of the Inca. It's an Inca mobile. No, it's not. So we've put our Starlink on the roof. We have our desky all set up. We've converted our bed. I am editing our video of Ecuador. Look at our timeline. That's how many cuts I have to make in order to make half an hour of video. So this train is called the Peru Rail Observatory because, I mean, there's so many windows here. It's incredible. You can see these beautiful mountain peaks as the sun just starts to light them up in the morning. This is one of the most special train rides in the world. We rode past small Inca ruins that had alpacas and llamas grazing around through the high Andes Mountains on our way to visit one of the 7 wonders of the world.
It turned into a pancake. Now we are in Aguascalientes. This is the town where Machu Picchu is. Now we need to get up to Machu Picchu. You can either take the bus, which is like $30 for a 30-minute bus ride, which is a lot, or you can hike for 1.5 hours.
That is the back of the line for the bus. All these people, all of them are waiting for the bus. We've been to Peru once before, 9 years ago. Last time we also went to Machu Picchu, but we took the Inca Trail, which is a 4-day, 3-night hike along the paths that the Incas used to use to get to and from Machu Picchu. Do you see that up there? That is a small part of Machu Picchu. That's a long way up.
Come on, Kim, less yapping, more walking.
Been going for 20 or 25 minutes now.
You can see it's a hike.
We've learned why it is that everyone takes the bus. Only
It's
uphill.
quite tough.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Look at this. We made it
Wow,
to
just as we enter it,
Machu Picchu.
get this crazy view of the valley here and then Machu Picchu. Okay, to be honest though, a lot of times when I was walking up, I thought, I wish I would have paid for the ticket for the bus. I'd recommend it because it is steep and it just stairs after stairs after stairs.
On the other hand, now I kind of feel like I really earned this. Look at it! Machu Picchu. Like, this is one of the few places in the world, in my experience, when you go there, it looks the exact same as in the picture. That does not happen a lot. The sprawling Inca citadel of Machu Picchu lives up to every bit of the hype. It's kind of like the Mona Lisa or the pyramids of Egypt, this world-famous thing that everyone knows, but there's nothing quite like being here. The Incas built this place in the 15th century, but it was lost to the mountains for centuries after they abandoned it, only being rediscovered in the early 1900s. This is arguably the most famous view of Machu Picchu, the famous picture, but what I personally love, but you can't fully appreciate until you're here, is that, the mountains. So in order to make this place livable, the Incas way back when built all these terraces for agriculture and just to put their houses like on a flatbed because the mountain is hardly flat.
This is just one of those places you gotta see to believe it.
It's unbelievable. We've been here before and still I'm like, I can't believe this.
Yeah, exactly. The really impressive thing is how crazy the engineering was of the Incas. Look at these stones. Each individual stone is cut in such a way that it fits the previous stone perfectly. They say you can't even put a credit card or a piece of paper in between. Now, I'm not one to believe such claims, so I have my credit card. It looks like they're right. When you buy an entrance ticket to Machu Picchu, it gets really confusing because there are 10 different tickets. There's 3 different or 4 different circuits, and each circuit has like sub-circuits as well. And it's important to know which circuit you're going to go to. Circuit number 2 is one of the most popular ones because it's the most complete one. And some circuits don't even take you onto the Machu Picchu side. It's more like they take you to viewpoints and that's it.
When we started our big road trip from Alaska all the way up in the north of North America, down to Argentina, now being in Peru, was always one of the things that for me I knew would be the highlight, but like I underestimated just how much I would love being here a second time. Best road trip ever.
Bomb. And we're gonna continue.
We took the train back to Ollantaytambo. After dark, it turns into a party train. And Naik turns into a lean, mean dancing machine. Well, sort of. Morning fam, bit of not so good news this morning. When we started driving from Ollantaytambo to get to Lake Titicaca, it's about I think a 9-hour drive or something, so it's quite far. And he started noticing that sometimes the car would lose power uphill for like a split second. But it started happening several times. So we used our error code reader and our laptops to see what the car was telling us. And apparently the engine is overheating. So we are currently in the waiting room of a Peruvian garage in Cusco. So it turns out our engine is overheating on the uphill sections, of which there are many up here in the Altiplano of Peru. It turns out our engine coolant, our refrigerant that keeps the engine nice and cool and doesn't let it fry itself. This is the minimum line, but it's empty. Our mechanic immediately started helping us as soon as we got here. He's dismantling half of the car underneath the hood. Nick's out there talking with him and like learning stuff, I guess. I'm doing a little bit of work here, making us a cuppa of coffee. This kind of stuff always comes at a really bad time because right now we have about a week left on our Peruvian visa, I guess. Just about, so we have to be in Chile by then, and it's still a long drive and we still want to do a lot of stuff in this video, like Lake Titicaca and stuff. So yeah, I just hope that it's nothing serious, but if it is, we'll have to.
Alright, he's checking all the hoses and stuff. Looks like the hoses are not damaged, and it looks like the metal connectors are not damaged either. He says it looks like the silicone is just like aged and not well anymore. That means there's like a few leaks, but it should be an easy fix. It looks like it will be a simple fix. I mean, it can still be anything and everything.
You can still take him on. You ask him if he wants a cup. If he has a cup, because I don't have a spare cup, ask him if he wants some coffee.
Thank you.
Gracias! Okay, so it is now the next day. We hope our problem has been fixed. We think it has been fixed. Funny thing is, when our mechanic was underneath the hood, he found this. Like, this is supposed to be attached to something underneath the hood, and it was just lying around loose. So probably one of the previous mechanics that we went to just untied this and never put it back. So we have some spare parts. Today we're gonna drive to Lake Titicaca to see those cool floating islands in the middle of one of the largest lakes in all of South America. But before we do that, there's one thing we need to do. So this is an animal sanctuary where they have all sorts of Andean animals. And I'm already seeing something just as we enter that is absolutely bonkers.
It's the biggest bird I've ever seen.
Podemos entrar.
Sí, claro. Vamos a ingresar. Aquí nosotros tenemos 10 cóndores.
It's one big chicken.
Unbelievable. Wow. Oh my god, it was massive. It flew right over our heads.
Aquí estamos observando a un macho. Su nombre de él es Malco, quiere decir jefe, líder.
Ah, sí.
¿Por qué es el líder? Porque Malco tiene 60 a 65 años de edad.
Oh.
A dos pumas hembras. Ellas fueron rescatadas de la ciudad de Lima, exactamente de una discoteca o un nightclub.
Oh no.
En ese lugar los dueños de ese ambiente pues les inyectaban drogas para que las puedan utilizar como show. Ahora nos preguntan a nosotros y nos dicen ¿por qué no pueden liberarlas si ya están bien de salud? Pues lamentablemente las garras les han llegado a quitar. Ahora sus colmillos también les han llegado a cortar.
Wow.
Amigos, aquí tenemos llamas y alpacas.
Okay.
La mejor de todas pues es esta de acá.
¿Sí?
Su nombre de ella es Blanca.
Blanca.
Blanca es la mejor. A Blanca le gustan las fotografías. Pueden abrazarla a Blanca. Es una fotografía. ¿Perdón?
¿Es una hembra?
Sí, Blanca. Su nombre de ella es Blanca.
Never thought when I woke up this morning I'd be pedaling a llama.
Our guide showed us around and we got to meet many more interesting animals in the rescue center. They had deer, monkeys, and lots of different types of birds like macaws, parrots.
Hola.
Hola.
Hola. Hola.
I always love coming to rescue centers like this, not just to see all the animals that they have in the area, but also just to support the work that people do here because it's...
Yeah, and you can really feel the passion of the people for the center.
It was time to hit the road again. We have a 6-hour drive ahead of us through the Andes Mountains to get to Puno, the gateway to Lake Titicaca.
Wow, the road we're on, the road to Puno, is really beautiful. We're driving through these mountains. A lot of time we're driving through the valley. You have these beautiful villages here right in the valleys.
Spectacular.
Got these
Unbelievable.
houses dotted here, got rivers everywhere. Spectacular views, green mountains.
Endless mountains.
It's
Stunning.
really something else.
In fact, there is nothing out here. Just picked up a small snack for lunch. This is actually something that is super popular in Peru. This is called papa rellena, which is a filled potato. This is mashed potato that they have deep fried, and relleno means there's a filling in there. So there's beans, meat, and a little bit of boiled egg. But one of these is only 2 soles, which is $50. Peru is so cheap sometimes. Good morning. Welcome to Lake Titicaca. We parked up here last night and today we're going on a boat excursion to the floating islands.
Hola Nicolás, ¿cómo estás?
Bien.
Hola, buenas.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Buenos días.
¿Cómo la clima? ¿Cómo fue esta noche?
Un poco frío.
Poco frío, sí. And this is where you can take the boat to get to one of the floating islands, which is what we're going to do today with our guide, Yorli. Hola, buenas. Ah, sí. Ah, sí. Hola. He booked a tour with Yorli and his family. He lives on his own island with his wife and son and his sister's family. Most people take a very touristy tour to the Uros Islands that takes you to an island that's just meant for tourists. But Yorli is taking us to the island where he actually lives with his family, so we'll catch a glimpse into their daily life on a floating island. The artificial islands are made out of local reed that grows here in the area of Lake Titicaca. These man-made floating islands first came to exist centuries ago and were a way for people to escape the Incas, who were at that time trying to take over these lands, and I guess they must have been horrible swimmers.
This is where their hospital is. A little bit hospital, private hospital for the Uros Islands. Aquí es la estación de servicio. ¿Sí? This is the gas station. So these islands behind me, they're made of reed. They just put a bunch of reed and bunch it together and it floats, and then they build their houses on top, so they are living on floating islands. Each one of these islands has about 20 people living on them, 4 or 5 families. Each house you see is a family and they live together on one island, which is really, really cool.
Here you can see just all the reed bunched together in like really big quantities. It's a little bit bouncy, but not as bouncy as I would expect. So this is the island of his family.
Bienvenido, amigas.
Gracias.
Esto es nuestra isla. Nosotros vivimos solamente 4 familias aquí. Mira, cada mercado es una familia.
Ah, sí, ok.
4 familias, como 18 personas aproximadamente.
Ok.
Niños, abuelos, todos.
Oh, qué bueno.
Como pueden ver, esto es una isla flotante. Donde venimos es como 2 metros, 1,5 metros aproximadamente, ¿no? La profundidad del lago. Pero aquí ya es más profundo, 25, 30 metros. Aquí. Es por eso que está flotando esta isla, ¿no?
They even have solar panels here, mainly for electricity and light in the houses at night. He said most people on the islands now have a cell phone, and some families even use solar panels like this to power like a small black and white TV.
Papi.
Hola. ¿Es tu cama?
Sí.
Muy grande, ¿no?
Es cafecito.
Plástico adentro aquí. Sí, por la lluvia. Mejor.
Como pueden ver, sí, nosotros vivimos aquí cinema con plástico, pequeño, ¿no?
Sí.
3 personas, una cama nada más.
Amigo.
Porque hace frío. Tenemos que de noche, como las 4,
No quiero.
So this is the traditional dress for Lake Titicaca.
I think I'm gonna start my own island here. You can build one.
Look at my dress.
Wow,
Oh, you see people wearing these all the time here in
that's so
Peru.
cute. Turn around.
It's actually really, really warm.
Do a little twirl for me. Ooh, qué bonita.
Before we tried the local food, we had to fuel up, which up here on the lake looks a little bit different than we're used to in our van. Es muy diferente por la gasolina que a Puno. Now we're going to the main island of the Uros over here, just a short boat ride from Jordi's home, where they have restaurants and stuff. I don't think any particular family lives there. This is more like the community center, if you will. Along the way, they showed us the local hotels and the traditional boats that are all made of reed as well. Such a different world up here.
I would want to live here for a few months just to learn the way of life here a bit. Like when these families get into a fight and they like can't solve the fight and they're just like, no, we want to split up the family. They take a big saw and they saw through the island like a big cake and they just separate the islands. They take their boat and they tow it away and they go live somewhere else.
I love seeing this. I love, like, this is the reason why we travel, isn't it? Like, to see things that are just so different from what
Such
we
a
know.
different way of life and wow.
But you know what I would like right now? And I think they might have it on this island. So, we're going to try Inca Kola. I've seen this everywhere in Peru.
It's like it comes out of a nuclear reactor.
Oh my god, that's very, very syrupy sweet. It's like cough syrup.
Tastes like bubblegum meets cough syrup.
It does, yeah, that's exactly the way it tastes.
Alright, now it's time for the typical dish of here. Pretty much 90% what they eat here is apparently fish. This is trout, tucha, frita, fried trout. One of the main dishes they eat here. And a guide recommended this to us. It's good. Fish is nice and soft. Lots of flavor in there. And it's a really big dish as well. Get some fries, get some rice here, some salad. And beautiful view across the lake. And we're sitting on a floating island as well.
Not a bad lunch.
Could be worse.
Peru is so cool. After the tour, Jordi asked if he could see our van, and he was very curious how we managed our water, our electricity, and our internet. After he and his lovely family showed us around their floating house, their Casa Flotante, we loved showing him around our Casa Rodante. If you want to have a tour with Jordi, turns out he also speaks English, and we'll put his details in the description box below. Snoop Dogg is smoking out the whole parking lot here. Look at that. All of that is the smoke from oh, that's not good. Well, I mean, hi, cutie. Wow. Look at them. Oh, I love it. There's even a couple cute little babies in there.
Look there.
A baby. That's a baby. Oh, he's so fluffy. Peru has been absolutely incredible. It's probably one of my favorite countries in the world because of everything. The people, the scenery, the sights, the food, just everything is so good. If Peru was not on your bucket list yet, I hope after watching this video it sure as heck is. But now it is time for a new adventure.